Well, tomatoes are crying for help. David Morton, what do you think about this? Our first article in Newsworthy this month, it talks about how tomatoes can cry, and not only that, they can cry for help. And what in the world is happening here, David?
Well, we have this article in Advanced that recently that said that 90% of all communication is nonverbal.
Yes.
For tomatoes, it maybe 100% is nonverbal, but it's like, what kind of verbs are you using? The idea here is that the tomatoes, when they are being eaten by this particular caterpillar, they emit a certain chemical, they have this chemical response, and this chemical response attracts a certain kind of insect that eats these caterpillars.
That's right.
What we're really looking for is the majesty of a world that's been created with wisdom and order, even to the point where plants can cry for help. It's a beautiful thing. It's very complex, but it's also just as simple as, hey, help! He's trying to eat all my leaves! And then the wasp comes and he says, oh, I'll save you, little buddy. And then he eats the caterpillar. It's beautiful magic of the natural world.
I like that little skit you did there. We brought those back to Advance there. Awesome. Well, we also talk about wildfires and how they can cause a lot of damage and even, of course, cause a loss of life. But are there some advantages to having wildfires, David?
Yeah, there are. And there are also some really profound metaphors of life that could be drawn from this that I won't get into now. But basically, not only are wildfires a natural part of the way some ecosystems work, but there are some plants that have actually adapted to wildfires as being part of the process for how they propagate themselves. Certain trees that drop seeds that only break open when there's the heat of a fire. You know, certain ways that the excess plants, you know what I mean, can be consumed by the fire in order to send more nutrients to larger, older trees, right? It really is an amazing thing. But in these areas where wildfires are already prevalent, the ecosystem has developed and evolved around those things. But too much of that is what's causing the problems. Right?
Absolutely. And we have our third day also talking about wildfires, but we're talking about artificial intelligence and how that can be used to combat wildfires. Do you think that's playing a positive role, David?
I think once the machines kind of learn how to detect where their fires are happening and whether or not they're dangerous, then it's going to start having a positive effect. But for now, they're still working out the kinks. I think that AI can really help us in these kinds of fights because we're fighting against forces that we don't fully understand. You know, we don't have the resources in and of ourselves to be able to figure out how to handle these situations. So hopefully, as AI progresses, as we learn to use it better, that can be an advantage.
Absolutely. All right, there you have it. Check out our newsworthy clips. There's a lot to learn. Don't forget to learn about those crying tomatoes. Fascinating stuff. We'll see you next time here on Insights.
See you later.